In this video, we're going to talk about sourcing your bees. There are really only three ways to source bees. Generally speaking, you could catch a swarm. That's when the queen and about half the bees have left their existing hive or their colony, and they might make a house hanging on a tree branch while they wait before they go to their next and final destination. In this case, you can come along, they'll be all clustered around together. You can cut the branch, put them in your box, take them home, put them in your hive. Fairly straightforward. You'd still wear your full protective gear, but it means you need to be in touch with your local beekeepers association, people who keep bees in your area, so that you can be notified when a swarm is there, ready to be collected. Generally, a swarm will only hang around for 1 to 3 days. So you do have to be quick, and they're a relatively simple way of expanding your apiary, getting more bees, so there's lots of beekeepers that will go and collect those swarms. Now, your other option is to buy bees. When you buy bees, generally you'll buy a nuc, which is short for a nucleus colony, a startup colony. Less common, but it's still possible, is you'd buy a package of bees. Now, a package of bees comes in a container similar to this. Normally you'd have about 1 to 1.5 kilos of bees in here. You'd also have a queen. These bees, you just open up the package and literally shake them inside your hive. Unless, of course, this box fits in there by itself, you could just put the box in and open it up and let the bees start. Your other option when you're buying bees, the more common way to buy bees, especially in Australia, is to buy a nuc. So let's open up this nuc and see exactly what you get for your couple of $100. As you can see, I'm fully suited up now in my protective clothing. It's important to wear that protective clothing at all times when you're handling your bees. So a nuc contains 5 frames of bees. These frames should have brand new white wax. You don't want old brown black wax been in the hive for years and years and a beekeeper's just trying to get rid of. White wax is the way to go. These girls are itching to get out. Let's open it up. Alright. The first thing you can see, this is teeming with bees. Ideally, you want to see bees on at least 3.5 of these frames, preferably more. When I look down here, I see bees on every frame. It's a good colony, a good nuc start. This lid's not going to stay open. We can just find something to prop that open with. Let me get a rock. Easy. Now obviously, this is not a good height for me. I'd be better off at this height where I can lift the frames up. I don't have to lift my arms too high. But I want to bring the frames to you on the camera, so I'm going to stand on the other side. Hopefully you get a better picture. So when you buy a nuc, just like a package, your nuc should consist of a new queen, and ideally, she'll be male. Other bees, other queens will have different coloured dots, depending on the time of year. Now this wax here, this is nice white wax. This is brand new wax. This frame is not teeming with bees. There's not thousands of bees on here, but there's a few. Let me get my trusty hive-tool pointer. If we bring this nice and close, these cells here, they're full of uncapped honey. Now this frame, probably about 50% uncapped honey on this side. And a similar sort of amount on this side, all through here. Just here, this is pollen. Don't worry if you can't see it, I'll make sure I include a few photos as well. The honey is what the bees use for energy. The pollen is their protein. A queen needs both to lay eggs. So if you're missing one, your queen is not going to lay. So your nuke should have at least one decent frame of honey and at least half a frame of pollen in it. I would not call this a decent frame of honey. It's barely half a frame, but it's a start. I'm just going to gently put this frame on the side here like this, putting it on an angle so we don't squish any bees, and we'll pull the second frame out. Didn't see the queen on that frame there. So this frame here, this wax is a little bit darker in colour. It's a bit older than that first frame. Just a bit tricky to grip these frames with one hand and point all facing the camera, but we'll get there. All right. So I'd like the bees to move, so I'm just gently blowing them. This here is capped brood, which is different to the pollen over here. So ideally we want to see at least one frame full of capped brood. If we've got a couple of frames of eggs and larvae, that's okay as well. So on the side closest to me, we've got more capped brood, some pollen in the middle. I haven't seen the queen. There's also a little bit of honey just on the top section, just here. This frame can go back in because we've got the brood. And generally speaking, we like to put the frames in the same order that we've taken them out. So I've left a little bit of space at the end to put this frame here back in when we're done. Picking up the third frame, slowly pulling it out. You can see here more capped brood, honey on top. And you can even see here, this bit here is capped honey versus the uncapped honey here. We'll talk about the difference between capped and uncapped honey in a later video, but it's nice to know we've got both in this colony. Now, this is going to be very tricky for you to see, but there are eggs. So that tells me my queen has been laying in the last 3 days, because the queen lays an egg and within 3 days that egg hatches into a larvae. I don't see the queen on this frame, put it back in, see if we find her on the next one. These bees are lovely and calm. You can see I don't even have my smoker lit. As a beginner beekeeper, I would recommend you've always got your smoker lit on hand, ready to go in case things go bad. For me, I've just learned how to run really quickly. So here we have another darker frame. Just having a look to see if I can see the queen on this frame here. Frame number 4, those at home that are keeping count. And here we go, here's our queen. If I hold the frame up here, I'll just give you a minute. Try and spot that queen for yourself. For those that were listening carefully, she does have a yellow dot. Let's see if I can still see her. All right. So at this distance, here she is down here. She's got that yellow mark on her. How much easier is she to see with a yellow dot? There she goes. Now we'll bring it up even closer. That's her just there. Now, notice her wings. Her wings only go halfway down her body. That's really important when you're trying to work out whether the bee you're looking at is a queen or a male, a drone. I like to refer to drones as short and stout. All of these bees here, these are all female bees. A drone is a bit shorter, a bit fatter. New beekeepers do mistake them for queens, but their wings do go all the way down to their butt. The queen's wings do not. They only go halfway down her body. She's a bit long and thin. So now we've seen our queen. We've gone through 4 frames. Let's check out the 5th frame of our nuc colony before we talk about how we transfer this into your new beehive. We want to be extra careful when we put this frame back. You do not want to crush your queen. Here's the last frame. This wax is a nice, it's a bit yellow, lots of white, so it's brand new. Some more capped brood over here. Got some over here capped brood, but this one's bulging out. These are males, drones. And now we do have a drone on this frame here. This bad boy right here on the hive tool. Just there. See, he's a bit bigger. Still short and stout compared to the queen, but much bigger than those female worker bees. I'll lift that up one more time just to make sure you can get a good look. That's him right here. And on this side here, this is mainly honey on this frame. So all up, we've probably got a frame and a half, 2 frames of honey tops. There's about a frame and a half of eggs, larvae, cat brood. And there's probably half a frame here of pollen. So it's not a bad nuc. Plenty of bees in there. We've seen the queen, she's marked. I'm happy with that. It's all new. What you really don't want is to find old frames. The wax is dark brown or black. That's just a poor beekeeper trying to get rid of their old stuff. You don't want their old gear. You want to start fresh. Just sliding these frames across to make room for that last frame to go back in. And then we can close it up. Making sure I don't squish any bees. Put the lid on. That gets taped up. And you take that home to start your new colony. It is important to note there, I mentioned we're trying not to squish bees. As a beekeeper, you will kill bees. That's inevitable and it's a part of beekeeping. The fewer bees you kill, the better. And different hives make that more or less likely to occur. Boxes, Langstroth hives that stack on top of each other, when you put one box on top of another, you're going to squish more bees than a horizontal type of hive. You might be able to hear those bees now, they're starting to hum. That's because I've got their entrance closed here, because when I transport them in the car, I don't want bees flying around. I've transported 15 of these bad boys in my car before. This is the way I drive. People laugh, but it's much safer because invariably there's always one sneaky bee that's hiding in the gap here or on the other side that gets out. And what do? You're driving home, you've got your nuke in the car, all of a sudden you can see a bee buzzing around inside the car. The best thing you can do, crank up your air conditioning, open your car windows. As you're driving, all that air is coming into your car, blowing the bee towards the back. The cold air is going to cool it down. It's going to calm it just a little bit, make it a little bit less likely to go crazy and try and sting you. In my experience, they'll just sit on the back windshield there until you get home, open it up, and then try and move them on. Definitely don't leave them in the car hoping that they'll die overnight, because there's no guarantee. Get them out where you know where they are, that way they don't make a mess. I like to buy, or I don't even buy them, I like to use old coffee bags that coffee beans come in. There's some cafes in the area that give these bags away for free, these Hessian bags. I'll stick my nukes in those Hessian bags. That way, if there are any bees on the outside, they're contained within the Hessian. And that saves them flying around in the car. You don't want anything really thick and heavy that's going to obstruct the airflow and make the bees hot and overheat. So that Hessian with the air, the gaps in it, that's a great solution. Some people will use muslin cloth. Those gaps are even smaller. Whatever works for you. Alternatively, you might have a trailer or you might have a boot that shuts and the bees are contained in that. You can do that as well. Something like this will set you back somewhere between sort of a minimum of $180 up to about $250. Most beekeepers will charge you for a deposit before you pick your nuke up. If you get the option to inspect your colony before you take it away, I highly recommend you do so. As a new beekeeper, it is hard. You just want to get your bees. You kind of don't really mind how they look, but this is sort of what you should be expecting, that sort of quality. You can always ask a beekeeper who's selling you a nuke if you're not happy with it. Do you have another one available? Not really too impressed. Some beekeepers will charge you a little bit more for marking the queen, but you should always have it marked. It is a bit of a process to catch her and put the dot on her. If you're being charged an extra $10 to mark a queen, that's money well spent. Much easier to find your queen when she's got a mark on her. There is a color coordination system for bees and having them marked. Not all beekeepers follow it. Commercial guys generally do. If you're just looking at a hobby beekeeper, they're probably not going to have the right color. Not a big deal. As long as she's marked, she'll be easy to see. Thanks for tuning in. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to transfer these bees when you get home into your new colony. Bye for now. Welcome to the Transferring Bees module. You've got your nuke back home. You've got your new hive ready for your bees. How do you get this into here? It's relatively straightforward, but I'm going to walk you through the steps. Most hives are either 8 or 10 frame boxes. This one here is an 8 frame box, so that just means it'll fit 8 frames inside as opposed to a 10 frame that fits 10 frames inside. We know we've got 5 frames in our nuke, so we need 3 extra frames to fill out our first hive, or our first box I should say. We always put all our frames or all our bars in our top bar hives back in the boxes. Never leave a gap, because the bees will draw wax through them from the roof down through that gap. Anything more than 1 centimeter, they'll put wax in it. It's a mess. So we saw that we had our queen in our nuke. We don't have to go searching for her now. We don't need to disrupt them any more than we have when we checked it. Now it's a matter of bringing the frames from the nuke into the colony, into the permanent hive location. Let's go. So you can see here what I've got. I've got a single frame on this side, 2 frames on this side here. Our other 5 frames are going to go in between. To make it easy, we'll take one of these frames out, and it really doesn't matter whether you've got 2 frames on this side or 2 frames on that side. That's irrelevant. We'll open our nuke up. Chock full of bees. Now if I'm working left to right this way, I'm going to take the frame out, and it doesn't matter which side I put it in really, as long as I keep them in the order. So what I'm doing here, I'm getting my hive tool between those wide wings and the lip of the nuke, ducking it in there, and that gives me the ability to lift off this frame. Generally speaking, you take the second frame in rather than the end frame, because these end frames are normally waxed to the sides of the hives. But we've already checked this nuke. We know that these are nice and loose, so we can take that end frame today. Gently grab one side, come around and grab the other, lifting it up nice and straight, bringing it around, putting it straight in the hive. And I go through, grab the next frame, and do the same thing. Nice and straight, bring that out. Well, by sheer chance, we've got the queen on this frame here. Like I said, we're not stressing, we're not trying to annoy her or upset her, we're just carefully putting it back in. Moving on to the next frame. Bring it up straight, bringing it over, sliding it in. Nice and easy. Now if you've got a horizontal hive, a long lang, if it fits these standard size frames, that's fine. If you've got a top bar hive, generally it's a little bit trickier, but you can cut some of this wax out and use elastic bands to attach it to your bars in the first instance. That is a bit tricky, and I suggest you trying to get some help, or definitely having a look at other videos on how to do that. The alternative is you can treat your nuke like a package and just shake all your bees into your top bar hive. In that instance, I would make sure your queen is caged in a queen cage, which I'll show you in the beekeeping equipment segment. Having that queen in the queen cage with a little bit of marshmallow in it, you can buy or make bee fondant specifically for the bees. White marshmallow is much easier to come by and put in. That keeps the queen in the cage. She stays in there for a couple of days, and that means for your brand new hive, top bar especially, where you don't necessarily have any of this wax, even if the bees go to leave, the queen is stuck, so they'll come back. Generally after 2 or 3 days, they'll stay in the place that you've put them in. So I'm taking our last frame here, sliding it in. Now these are called paradise hives. These are foam, high density foam hives. They say they're 8 frames, but they actually fit 9. So it just means when we come through, we need to space these frames apart just a little bit. Alternatively, you can cram 9 frames into them, but it does make it a bit tight to get out. You can see here, there's still a whole lot of bees inside the nuke box. All we need to do, tip it upside down, nice gentle shake. There's only a couple left in there now. Close that lid so they can't get back in. Put the lid of your hive on top, trying not to squish any bees. Job done. Now you can leave these bees for a week or 2 before you come through and check them. Give them a chance to settle, start working out what's what. These bees are nice and calm. Again, didn't need the smoker, but make sure you've got it lit just in case. Generally, when you pick up your bees, it'll be just on dusk, just after all the bees have stopped flying around, come back home, packed up for the night. The beekeeper that you're buying them from will seal that up, get you to come and pick them up and take them home. So it will probably be dark when you're doing this, unless you wait until the morning. So do be mindful, be careful of your surroundings. Always wear full protection. Transferring bees is really not that difficult. Now you've got a new colony, you're ready to begin. I'll see you on the next video.